Um, Hi guys. Yeah, just gonna do another one. It's late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, and so hopefully you should be seeing this today, Sunday morning sometime. This video. So yeah, the one I'm doing now is going back to I'm pretty sure it was 1990, the end of 1990, because I would have been 21 years old, and what it was. At the time, I was doing what's known as kiting back then, which was doing stolen checkbook and cards. You know, I'd go to bureau de changes and cash checks basically with and get the cash from with a check guarantee card and stuff like that. For 50 quid at a time, 100 quid at a time, sometimes more. If I had ID and that, fake ID. But this one time, I think I was in Oxford Street at Bureau de Change, and I was doing a check, and I think it was for about £100, and I was just doing it as normal, and I think the guys working there were Middle Eastern or whatever, but it all seemed to be going well, at the bureau. You've got people there working there behind a glass screen and stuff, So it all seemed to be going well, and I'm waiting for my cash and that, done the check and all that, and I'm waiting for the cash. But the guy said, "Hold on a minute, I'll be back in a sec." And he's turned round, and I thought, what, to myself, well, this ain't right. Something didn't feel right, and I thought, well, I'm just leaving it, and I'm going. I'm gonna leg it. Obviously, not just running away. I'd walk away slowly. But as I was walking away, two old Bill were there. I didn't know at the time, but I found out a bit later that they had been watching the place. It's pretty common up the West End for them to watch things like that. Bureau de changes and stuff like that. Because as I say, kiting was quite a common thing back then. Yeah. So basically, I got arrested and ended up going back to the police station, and I didn't get bail. So I went to court the next morning at Horseferry Road, magistrates, I think it was, and basically what happened, I got remanded in custody, and that day, and by the time the end of the day had finished, I'd been remanded in custody from court, had to go through Lambeth holding cells, and then over to Wormwood Scrubs prison. But at the time, in the early 90s, there was such a thing called lockouts. If you didn't get to the prison at a certain time, I think it was 8 o'clock, um, you wouldn't be, the bus wouldn't be allowed in and stuff like that. A lot of the prisons were full up, and that was another reason this was happening. It was around the time a lot of new prisons were being built, like Belmarsh, Highdown, Whitemoor, all those new prisons. They're all being built in the early 90s. So yeah, back to what I was talking about. So yeah, didn't get let into Women's Scrub, so basically had to go into what was known as police custody. And back then, if you was in police custody convicted, um, it was like you say you was doing 6 months, you only had to do 3 months. You got half your sentence off. Because there was no exercise yard. It wasn't like being in prison. It was just like police cells. And where I was, uh, Horseferry Road, police custody. It was basically, yeah, you were just in a police cell, detention cell, no toilet in the cell. You had to be let out of the cell for a toilet and stuff, And I was in a double with this Irish guy called Tomo. Yeah, so I can't remember how long I was there for, a couple of weeks or so. But I had to go back to court, and the next time I went back to Horseferry Road, um, I'd applied for bail. Yeah, and at the magistrate, he'd asked for a surety and stuff. I think it was 500 quid. It It's quite a lot back then for considering the offence, you know, which was fraud and deception. So basically, I'd been granted surety, and basically they were just waiting for all the paperwork to come through. And as soon as that come through, I'd be getting out. And you know, like I said, I was at Horseferry Road Magistrates, and the police station. You know, it's the same sort of building. And so basically, I've gone back into the cells. You know, and I'm talking to my cellmate Tomo, saying, "Yeah, I've got bail, mate. You know, I'm getting out. I'm just waiting for the paperwork to all go through. I'm getting out of here." And then what he done, this Tomo, this Irish guy from Dublin, he took his shoe off, and underneath the sole in his, like the inlay in his shoe, he had a £10 note. This sweaty old tenner, you know, that had been in his shoe, and which he'd been wearing. And he said to me, "Look, Sean, you're getting out, mate. Do me a favour, take this tenner, go and score for me, will ya?" And I'm thinking, oh God. And I said to him, "You know, it's quite a way for me to score. I've got no money on me myself. Do you know what I mean?" And I'm thinking, he wants me to go and do this. And in the end, I've agreed to it. I've said, "Yeah, all right." So basically, I've got to go and score for him with his £10 note and bring him something back and smuggle it back in to the police station where he's being held. You know, so basically what I had to do is my bail come through. I've took the tenner off him. My bail's come through and that, you know, and basically I've got out of Horseferry Road and then sort of walked over Lambeth Bridge over there and down Kennington Road towards this, you know, down Kennington Road and Black Prince Road there used to be these like prefabricated buildings that were built after the war for people that were housed in them that had been bombed out after World War Two. But they were still there, these prefab buildings, right up until the 80s or 90s and maybe even the 2000s. But where they were, there was a block of flats there, and I knew a lady that lived there. She was a Portuguese girl who was a ballerina, but she was also a heroin addict. And I was thinking, you know, I've got this tenner, and I said I'm going to score for him. And I thought, well, I'll stop off at her house and see if she wants anything, you know, and try and get some more money sorted. So I went to see her and told her what was going on, and she said, yeah, she wanted a bit as well. So basically, I got some money off her, and then from there, I had to get on a bus all the way down to Forest Hill, well, nearer Sydenham really, to go and see my mate Charlie Allen there, old Scottish guy. He's dead now, sadly. To go and buy a bit of brown off him, you know, and then I had to go back to Kennington on the bus, sort her out, and obviously make up this little £10 bag or a £10 bag for this Tomo geezer. But what I forgot to tell you is, for him, he didn't just want the bag of gear, you know, and be satisfied with smoking it or snorting it or whatever, you know. He said to me, I've only got this tenner, can you get me a needle and bring that in somehow for me? And I said, I'll sort it, mate, you know. I don't know how he talked me into it, but he did, and I felt sorry for him, you know. It was his luck, you know. Once I said I'd do it, I'm usually a man of my word, and I wanted to do it. So yeah, basically I'm at Kennington back at her place sorting that out, and basically what I've had to do is I've got a syringe, you know, cooked up the gear for this £10 bag for Tomo, drawed it up into the syringe, you know, and I've cut the syringe down beforehand so it's shorter and easier to smuggle in. So basically what I've done is I've gone to the shop as well, bought a newspaper, some chocolate, and one of those little meat pies and that, you know, in the plastic wrapper. So what I've done, I slipped open the end of the pie and cut open a bit of the meat pie and put the syringe with the heroin inside of the pie yeah, put the pie back in the silver tray, and then sealed up, put it back in the plastic paper, and then use a bit of Pritt stick to seal it up again. Yeah, and then I'll put that in a carrier bag with a newspaper, and a couple of bars of chocolate, a tin of Coke, stuff like that. Because in them days in police custody, uh, you was allowed to have food and newspapers handed in every day. So the idea was to hand that back in, and hopefully he would get it. So yeah, me and Maria there. I've said to her, look, can you walk up to Horseferry Road with me, because it's not far from Kennington. So we've gone back over Lambeth Bridge to Horseferry Road police station there, and I've given the bag to her with the pie in and the chocolate and the newspaper. Obviously the pie's got the syringe full of heroin in it, and said, yeah, hand that in to Tomo. I can't remember his second name now. But I said, say you're handing that in for him, and and then give it to the policeman there, and then just leave. So I gave her the bag, and she went into the police station and handed it in, basically. So it all seemed to go well, and as far as I know, he got it and that. But like I say, I never heard from him ever again. But I'm pretty sure he got that. But yeah, just a little story there. All sorts of stories are coming back to me just recently, where my head's been a lot clearer on that, guys. So yeah, just a little one there, and have a good Sunday, guys, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.